From new evidence surrounding the Egyptian pyramids to baffling artifacts and places, these are 6 ancient mysteries unearthed. Number 6. The Great Pyramid Chambers. Location: Egypt. The Great Pyramid of Giza is the oldest and largest of all pyramids in Egypt. It has been part of history and mysteries for more than 4,000 years. Our first modern glimpse inside the structure was around 820 AD, when the presiding caliph of the area used battering rams to create a tunnel inside the pyramid. The Great Pyramid has been studied and explored over and over, and to this day we find new and intriguing things about it. The confirmed chambers that exist are the Queen's Chamber, the Grand Gallery, and of course the King's Chamber. Of the 3, the Queen's Chamber is the least explored one because it's so hard to get inside. Researchers have recently found 2 more secret chambers. Operation Scan Pyramids has came out with solid proof about the extra chambers after they found 2 anomalies using thermal scanning. Will these chambers have definitive proof on how exactly the tallest man-made structure for 3,800 years was built? The Pyramid of Khufu remains as the last standing of the ancient wonders of the world, and it seems that we still don't know everything there is to know about it. Number 5. The Codex Gigas. Location: Czech Republic. The giant book is actually pretty giant. It dates back to the early 12th century AD. It weighs in at 165 pounds, and it is composed of 320 leaves of donkey skin. It's estimated that 160 donkeys were harmed during the writing of this book. Apart from its size, the most shocking part of the book is the page dedicated to the devil and the legend it brought with it. The legend states that Herman the Recluse, who resided at the Podlazice Monastery in the Czech Republic, broke his vows to the monastery and was sentenced to be walled up alive. He pleaded for his life by promising to complete a book of all the knowledge in the world in one day. The monks gave him that chance, and Herman started writing. Alas, it was too great of a task to complete. Instead of praying to God for help, the monk decided to sell his soul to the devil in exchange for his help. Lucifer completed the manuscript himself, and the monk added his depiction as a form of gratitude. Obviously, this is only a legend, but a lot of research has gone into finding out how much time and manpower it took for this manuscript to be finished, and many people claim that it was actually only one man who did all the work in a very short time. Number 4. The Lady of the Spiked Throne. Location: the Middle East. Our next stop is in the Indus Valley, or modern-day Afghanistan/Pakistan. This time, the mystery is much smaller, in physical size anyway. A strange artifact was found in a private collection and examined by Italian archaeologist Massimo Vidale. He concluded that the so-called Lady of the Spiked Throne could be dated back to 2700 BC. Having so little information that is easily found about the Lady of the Spiked Throne has made many people believe this whole discovery is an elaborate hoax by someone trying to sell you a book. But the more digging we do, the more we find out. It turns out Massimo Vidale is a real archaeologist, and he did write a 72-page paper about the Lady of the Spiked Throne. In it, he includes very detailed pictures of this amazing piece of art and an extremely detailed analysis of the object, what it might mean, and who might have built it. Nothing is conclusive though. Number 3. The Egyptian Treasures in the Grand Canyon. Location: Arizona. The year is 1909, and 2 ambitious archaeologists are embarking on the journey of a century. The expedition organized by the Smithsonian Institute focused on expanding our knowledge of the Grand Canyon and the cultures that call that place home. The 2 explorers were Professor S. Jordan and self-proclaimed adventurer G. Kincaid. Their first trip around the canyon wielded amazing finds, including a network of tunnels and chambers filled with artifacts resembling those found in Egypt or Tibet. And that's about it. This is where the story ends and the mystery begins. The only accounts of this expedition were written in a small local newspaper, the Arizona Gazette, on March 12, 1909. There was a follow-up article in the same newspaper that quoted Kincaid saying, The idol almost resembles Buddha, though the scientists are not certain as to what religious worship it represents. Taking into consideration everything found thus far, it is possible that this worship most resembles the ancient people of Tibet. The articles have sparked many theories, and the obvious thing to do was contact the Smithsonian and cross-reference the newspaper's findings. Their response was less than thrilling though, stating they had no records of the expedition or of a Professor S. Jordan ever existing. It is impossible to know the truth unless someone comes forward, either from the Smithsonian or the Arizona Gazette. If it was just an elaborate hoax, who was it meant to fool? The 500 people reading the paper in 1909? If it was a cover-up, what was so controversial that the public is still not ready to find out about it? The Grand Canyon still holds some mysteries, and it has many restricted areas. Maybe those areas are the ones containing the tunnels and ancient artifacts. And there's only one way to find out. Number 2. The Yagan people. Location: Tierra del Fuego. The Yagan tribe living on the islands of Tierra del Fuego are regarded as the southernmost peoples in the world. And when you look at a map of the place, it's easy to see why. They can see Antarctica from their backyards. The Yagan were hunter-gatherers that had not met Europeans until the 16th century, but they left a lasting impression on any traveler that was brave enough to stop there. Charles Darwin wrote about his first encounter, stating, "Without exception, the most curious and interesting spectacle I ever beheld. The strangest part about the tribe was their extreme adaptation to the freezing climate. They did not wear any clothes, even when the average yearly temperature is around 5 degrees Celsius. The tribe's numbers were estimated to be around 3,000 before colonization of the region began. Nowadays, the number is around 1,500 people, and there's only one surviving member that can speak their old language. Their culture and language will soon be completely forgotten, and with it, our chances of finding out who those people are, where they came from, and what made them impervious to the cold climate." Before we jump into number 1, here are some honorable mentions. Just wanted to say thanks for the continued support from you all, and a little shout out for 10K subscribers. First off, we have the King's List, an ancient Sumerian artifact. It lists all the kings, their lineage, and a little bit about their time of ruling. But it also ties them into such things as the Great Flood and stories from the Epic of Gilgamesh. Many people have taken this to heart and have created elaborate stories and legends about the kings of Sumeria. Another interesting site is the Rosslyn Chapel. It is believed this site has deep-rooted connections to the Knights Templar and the descendants of Jesus Christ himself. I covered a very similar topic in the 5 Fascinating Old Age Conspiracies Explained video. Check it out after this video. And finally, something with more fact than fiction: the apparent visits and settlements of Vikings all over the East Coast. There is still a lot of research to be done, but archaeologists are zeroing down on an actual Viking settlement on Baffling Island, Canada. Number 1. Mount Nemrut. Location: Turkey. Finally, we have the mysterious statues of Mount Nemrut. It is believed they were erected sometime during the 1st century BC and served as guardians to the unknown tomb behind them. No one knows who was buried there or why they were important enough to warrant statues, but it is believed that the tomb might belong to Antiochus, a royal leader of the area during the Hellenistic period. The ancient site was discovered in 1881. Unfortunately, all of the statues have been beheaded because it was seen as false idol worship by locals. The site is deteriorating fast. There's not much that can be done to reconstruct or repair the statues, and the heavy snowfall during the winter speeds up their erosion immensely. If you want to check this place out, you should do it soon. Let your imagination run wild. Check out the next video, hit that like button, and subscribe for more World Unearthed.